Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to Theory on Rouse Trapped Queens variant. This custom position that I've created. The rules are the same as standard chess, however the starting position is different. So in the first video we covered the introduction, which we showed various ideas and themes in the position. In the second video we covered theory with 1e4, and I think you should watch those if you haven't already before this one, but if not, it's still fine. In this video, we're going to cover theory with 1d4. So white typically over here has three main moves. They can start with e4, d4, or g3 to play for the advantage. So we covered everything to do with e4 last video. So this video is about d4. And what we want to know over here is that the most natural move over here is actually not very good. So d4, d5 is not very good for black. And so let me show you why. So in this opening, the way that white can play for the advantage after d5, which is an inaccurate move, is just to try and sacrifice to free their queen with their bishop, of course. We most times don't want to sacrifice the rook. If possible, we want to sacrifice the bishop. And the idea is that after e4, e5, just trying to right away go for bishop sacrifice to free the queen was around equal, as shown in the introduction video actually. But in this d4, d5 line, we could go right away for this because in the e4, e5 line, once the queen was free, we had a bishop staring at like b4. So for example, if white freed their queen, we had a bishop staring there, and then we also had a bishop that was kind of staring through over here. But after d4, d5 has been played, this d5 pawn for black would kind of block the light squared bishop. So now that we should just try to free our queen as quick as possible. So e3 is played, and if e6, which is the second mistake that black can make in this position, and you'll see that after sacrificing, both sides sacrifice, but white plays queen takes a2, and as we saw in lots of e4, e5 theory, when this is able to happen, like over here, black cannot sacrifice on a7 because white's defending it twice, so white should just be definitely better over here, and if not winning. But I think because opposite color bishops, white is better, but maybe not winning, but definitely quite a bit better. So that's d4, d5, which is not the best move, but after e3, the best shot that I think black has is to play h5 here, which is an interesting idea. Black is just trying to bring the rook into the game this way. So bishop e2, rook h6. Actually, here white can just castle, and here's an interesting moment in the theory, because we see that if black tried to copy like white and sacrifice with the bishop, white's going to keep this a7 pawn, and white's just going to be playing for the advantage over here. So what we want to actually do over here is black basically in the best, for the best, I think the best move. Black doesn't have to play it, but black just concedes that they're not going to get to sacrifice a bishop, and so they actually sacrifice their rook. So a takes b6. G6 is actually played right now, just to try to develop the bishop, and then we can take, white can take, and black can take on a7. So now we see it's kind of the other way around, where black has the two pieces that are defending this a2 pawn, and white can't take it, so black has the advantage there. However, white has the advantage, of course, because black sacrificed a rook to free their queen, whereas white sacrificed a bishop, so therefore white is up in exchange, but black has this very annoying a2 pawn. And so I think this is the best, and you'll see like the computer evaluation, although this is Stockfish 11 and not Stockfish 15, which I used to analyze this, but white should be playing for the advantage here, but I think this is black's best option, and it leaves imbalances, and this a2 pawn is always going to be really annoying. However, white is up in exchange, so they have that going for them. But yeah, as well as this bishop on c1 is a kind of a bad bishop right now. It's just staring at pawns, but yeah. Anyhow, white is always going to be better. With d4, d5. And so the most natural move over here, I would not recommend you to play. So if there isn't e6, let's look. There's also d6 that black could play, and it's not horrible, but it's not the like greatest. White can play for an advantage with like e4 over here, and actually this transpose to like g6 lines over here, and we kind of saw with this actually kind of transposes to what we saw with the e4 e5 line theory, where white is just going to get the bishop sacrifice off, and this isn't the greatest way to play. So we have that, and so d4 I would recommend the move e6 here. And the idea behind this move is basically, as I said, with the d4 d5 being played on the board, white's best strategy was to play e3 and then to get the bishop to sacrifice, right? So the best move for black, I think, right now is just to play e6. And the idea with this move is that, well, black is saying that, well, if white just wants to sacrifice, then I'm going to do it first, because this d4 move by white, it doesn't help in the sacrificing of the bishop. And also, when d4 is on the board, there's no bishop e3, which would, oops, there's no bishop e3 which would defend against b6 because this d4 pawn blocks it. So black is saying that, okay, d4, those are the weaknesses of d4, and I'm just going to go and sacrifice first. So after e6, if white were to play e3 to try and do the to try and sacrifice as well, it's worth noticing that d5 transposes to this bad line for black. But if black decides to sacrifice their bishop first over here, computer actually liked d5 over here, which is an interesting move. Try and double black's pawns, but you see that black is going to get this sacrifice off, and I think black should be slightly better here, though white's going to like defend this pawn over here with e4. But yeah, so you might be asking after d4 e6, and isn't d4 just not a good move because it kind of blocks black's defense of the b6 pawn, or like an attack over here. It just blocks that, and black can just play e6 and develop their bishop before white. And so this would be a bad move, except for the main line, which is g3. And actually, in the next video that I'm going to make, which is going to cover g3 theory, like if black plays, so d5 over here is the main line, but like if we could also go for like g3, like d5, e4, like e6 over here. We can also transpose with the g3 lines, but this is kind of how to reach it over here. So we have d5 over here, and so the idea over here is that okay, we're playing g3, so we're kind of like not going for the sacrifice right away, but white's going to try to claim some advantage. So if g3 bishop e7, so let's say black just tries to free their queen right away. Let's see what happens over here. I wish I had stockfish 15 over here right now, because it'll show the lines, because I know that this is not black's best choice. Let's see, bishop d2, I think it was bishop d8 to try and free it, and I'm wondering, computer likes d5. Let's see. So d5 gets played. Well, let's see. What if the bishop takes? Bishop takes. Queen takes. Bishop b3. Queen a6. Rook c1. And apparently, like d6 he takes e6. Bishop takes e6, rook c7, and white is threatening to take on b7. So I think that's where white's okay, d5 can be played over here. Castles, castles. And now bishop c5 maybe? No. Rook fc1. And yeah, so it's interesting. So maybe this is also playable to right away for black to go for the sacrifice. I mean, white's going to get some good play with the bishops and the rooks on the file, which is probably where the advantage lies, or b6 over here. It's interesting. There must be something over here, or maybe black could just go for the sacrifice right away. Let's go back. Also wondering if instead of d5, what if bishop f4 over here takes, and then bishop b8 would be my idea over here, although the pawn is hanging. You don't even want to take. Okay, castles. d5, e3, bishop e7, fc1, and let's look over here. Yeah, I think the computer just wants to sacrifice something like this. Rook takes c7, bishop takes a7, queen takes e7. And yeah, I think, okay, so now I'm seeing, see, the computer is not the greatest at these trap positions. I think that over here we could just play long-term advantage might be in white's favor, because like, okay, let's put a few more moves on the board. Rook c3, rook, no, queen a8, rook ac1, let's say, bishop c6. I'm thinking that eventually bishop f3, bishop d1, and white can sacrifice a bishop. So like right now, black is down a rook. So after white sacrifices a bishop, they could be up the exchange. Like e5, dx e5, queen e8, bishop d1, be something like this. Rook a8, rook a1. Now d5, d4, right? Yeah, d4. Okay, so going all the way back, right? This is what I'm trying to come up with theory on the spot, because I didn't have my notes for this one. But instead of rook ac1, we just have bishop f3 over here. Rook c8, maybe bishop d1. Oh my, what happened over here? Oh, is white so much? Okay. So over here, look, the computer, I think also because this is Stockfish 11, not Stockfish 15. Oh, white's just going to get the sacrifice off. So going all the way back, this is probably why I don't want to just try to go right away for the sacrifice. So there, after some effort, I had to figure out on the spot. But it was bishop f4 over here, takes, and after black had to basically eventually sacrifice, we were able to bring our bishop to f3 and just to d1, and then because right now we're up a rook, right? So if we sacrifice our bishop, we're just going to be up in exchange. So that's the win for white, given black just trying to right away sacrifice. So that's why after bishop g2, that's why after, so d5 would be the main line over here, and after d5 we basically would play bishop g2, bishop e7, bishop f4. So we're bringing our bishops here, and our bishop on f4 is going to go to b8. So bishop d8 is black. So black's going to get the sacrifice off anyway. So after e3, bishop takes, queen takes, and bishop b8. This kind of looks similar to the line that was better for us, but let's check. So castles, castles, and yeah, this would be white's best shot with this opening. So actually, let me. That's what I have in my notes at least. But so let's go for something because this looks similar to the line where black just tried to sacrifice right away. So I'm actually trying to see if let's see, bishop d7. Let's go for rook fc1, and I'm just going to see. So the computer does want to, and it makes sense that the computer want to sacrifice the rook because this rook is not moving if it's not sacrificing. So rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Now let's look at rook c3. Let's check rook a8. And let's see. f3, bishop e8, bishop d1. Let's check this out. f6. Is it basically the idea over here is that black wants to make sure that that once white sacrifices, this a2 pawn remains on the board. So let's see, takes, a takes, queen takes b3 is the best move here, and bishop g6. Oh, because that was an interesting move by the computer. So now the computer wants to bring the bishop to b1. Let's check. So queen d1, bishop b1. And if we were to sacrifice, then it'd be a completely even symmetrical position. So queen f1, queen b6, and even rook c5 over here. Yeah. But basically, yeah, so in this position, I think white is still playing for the advantage. Is definitely playing for the advantage in this opening. But I think because black's compensation would be this pawn on a2. So then even in the variation where black tried to sacrifice right away to free their queen, if they just brought everything to a8, they could cause some problems for white. But yeah, white should have a to play for their win. So I would recommend d4 for white actually. Let me just check to see. So other than d5, yeah. So I think d5 here would be black's best shot. So yeah. So basically, this is and that's all I actually have for d4. So there's very few lines. It's kind of like more of a system thing where black has something that they just want to play. So looking at this, the main line, white brought the bishop to b8, castles, castles, and I just added some moves right now. And you'll see that white got the sacrifice off with the bishop and used up an exchange over here, as black had to sacrifice a rook for a bishop and a pawn. However, this a2 pawn is strong. Or now that I'm thinking about it, this is interesting. So let's see even after. So that was a theory, and white plays for the advantage there. But actually, we want to just put something on the board, just like on the spot. What if f6? And this is actually kind of how I find theory in this position, anyways. But the idea with that is like f6. If black doesn't take right away, if black instead tries to like bring the bishop around, I'm wondering bishop g6. Queen takes b3, and then bishop b1. Bishop b1. Oh, but over here, white's quicker because once white sacrifices, now actually wait a second, black can go over here. Rook takes, and right now the material is even. However, showing that white has a moderate advantage. over here. Could be because white has control of the c file and also the a file. Yeah, it must be that. Something like queen a5 would undouble the pawns and also aim at c7, so d8 maybe. Yeah, so white should even have an advantage over here. That is interesting. Yeah, I think therefore the lines that I have just going through all the way, I think this would probably be the best way to play. Though I think allowing the rook to get to c5 might. I guess is that the only move? Queen b6. Maybe rook c5, queen a6. Let's see if queen takes b5. Just curious, looking at some more moves. Yeah, I mean, this could be tried as well. Rook a6. Oh, and the pawn. Oh yeah, but if white were to take, then rook is gonna go to c6, and probably not the best because maybe the bishop could move, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, this position, yeah. So the computer still does like white better here, but actually looks more even closer to even. So yeah, that's actually the position over here, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, this is the theory over here. So just going through this one more time. I know I had to figure some stuff out on the spot, but the best option. So after d4, black's best option is d6, white's best option is g3, d5. So there's a lot of like best option moves, but I think after something like this, so castles, black takes, brings their bishop. So now they'll be up in exchange because black sacrificed a bishop to free their queen, but then they sacrifice their rook for a bishop. So white would be up in exchange, but black has a strong pawn, and then black brings a bishop to b1, protecting the pawn as well. White wins a pawn maybe, but yeah, that should be it. And yeah, so I thank you for watching this video. There'll be one more video on theory in this opening, which will be on theory with 1g3. There are obviously some transpositions with this d4 line, but after g3 there could be some after g3 d5. So just quickly showing the d3 opening I'm going to show next. After g3 even d5, like white can play here and then d4, so that would be different, like as opposed to d5 and then e6 bishop g2, which would transpose. But also there's g3 and e5 as well. So yeah, I'll be showing that in the next video. But so far, I mean, thanks for watching. That's it for that. See you in the next video.